We can finally say it is a done deal. Arthur Okonkwo has signed for Wrexham AFC on a season-long loan from Premier League giants Arsenal. I'm sure by now you'll have watched my previous video about me talking about how I was an Arsenal fan and how I'd love to see this signing happen. We've signed Arthur on a season-long loan. It's a promising signing, like I said before. He stands at a whopping 6'5". He is huge. He's going to be an incredible addition to our squad. It boosts our goalkeeping ranks absolutely hugely, which now means we've got Liam Hall, Luke McNicholas, Mark Howard, Rob Lainton and Arthur Okonkwo. So we've got depth in that position, and if I'm being honest, I think he will come in to challenge for that number one spot. Now, like I previously highlighted in my last video, he did actually spend last season on loan at 2 different clubs. He spent the first half of the season up until January on loan at Crewe Alexandra, where he did actually play 23 times and got an average rating in those 23 games of 7.06, and then he moved on to play in the Austrian First Division for Sturm Graz, where he did actually win the Austrian Cup. So he's had a good career so far, 21 years of age. It's a promising signing. It seems to have gone down an absolute treat amongst Wrexham fans, and if I'm being honest, it's an incredible signing. And one thing I must say is it will be interesting to see what his situation is come next summer, because if you look at Okonkwo's contract, it does actually expire in June 2024. And I think a lot of Arsenal fans were expecting him to maybe sign a new contract before going out on loan to Wrexham, but nothing's been said by Arsenal, and there's a chance that if Okonkwo plays really well for Wrexham, Arsenal don't renew his contract, we could possibly get him on a permanent deal come the end of next season if he performs really well in a Wrexham shirt. And we're going to be reading what he has had to say about his move to Wrexham. Now, Okonkwo has said that I know that the club had a great season last year, and it's good to see how the club has a plan to progress up the leagues. The passion the fans, the owners and the club have to keep moving forward, and it's really good. So promising words from Arthur Okonkwo. I mean, they're the words you expect to hear from a signing, and words that you absolutely love to hear from a signing. He's clearly happy to be here. We're happy to have him in a Wrexham shirt, and like I said in my previous video, it is interesting to see now what will happen with that number one spot. Luke McNicholas, a new recent signing, I think we're going to trigger his buy option in January of about £80,000. Arthur Okonkwo on a season-long loan. Mark Howard, who's been the first choice to replace Ben Foster since he has obviously retired from professional football. So you've got to ask the questions now. Who will be our number one starter? I think tomorrow against Tranmere, I think we can sort of imagine that it will be Mark Howard. I don't think Okonkwo will be thrown straight into the deep end without knowing like the squad, but who knows, he might have been there today training with the squad. We really don't know. If Parkinson wants him to play, then he will have trained today. So yeah, I mean, for me, I think Mark Howard will still start tomorrow, but I do think in games to come, Okonkwo will definitely cement himself as that number one at Wrexham, because I mean, like I said, you've got to ask questions now. What will happen with the goalkeeping department? Is one of them going to leave? We don't know. Lane's out injured at the minute. Luke McNicholas, when we signed him, I thought he could genuinely contend for that number one spot, but since then we've obviously seen Mark Howard is above him in the pecking order, and we've signed someone on loan from Arsenal, a 21-year-old goalkeeper who's well thought of by Arsenal fans and is highly rated from his loan spells at Sturm Graz and Crewe Alexandra. So I mean, you've just got to think now, will he cement himself as Wrexham number one? And we're going to see what Phil Parkinson has to say on the signing of Arthur Okonkwo. He has said that I'd like to welcome Arthur to the club. He's a talented young goalkeeper and he's going to be a great addition to the squad this season. Now I think he speaks for everyone when he says those words, because it is obviously a big signing. We know it's a big signing. I believe this is our second loan signing, or you could say our first proper signing under the takeover, because obviously McNicholas is on loan but he's got the option to buy, but this is a straight season-long loan. So yeah, it's our first one under the takeover. For his sake, I hope he has a really, really good season, and for Wrexham fans' sake, I think we do as well, because we'd love to see him come upon the expiry of his contract in 2024. So let's wish he has a successful season in that number one spot. I mean, you would sort of question maybe if he had only come off that 23 games at Crewe in League 2, but it's the fact that he's been recalled and then sent out loan in the deep end to one of Austria's biggest clubs, Sturm Graz. So it says a lot about the goalkeeper he is, and I think we've done really, really well to get him. And I do believe we have fought off competition from other European clubs, although it does seem like we were the only club that had concrete interest in him. So yeah, welcome to Wrexham, Arthur Okonkwo, and now we're going to be discussing more on Luke Armstrong. There is a big twist in this saga. So it has been announced today that Luke Armstrong, obviously we knew Wrexham and MK Dons were battling that out earlier. He was set to go to MK Dons today on deadline day. He was meant to be unveiled as a MK Dons player, but there has been a twist. Wrexham have apparently outbid MK Dons. He has agreed personal terms with Wrexham. That is the news we want to hear late on in the deadline day, the 1st of September. Like I said, it's incredible news. We probably knew that he was the better player of the three options that we did have. Maybe Harrison, you could have a question that maybe they were on the same ability, but this is a very good signing. It depends on the transfer fee. If we'll ever know, we probably won't. But he's agreed personal terms, and it's rumoured that MK Dons have turned their attention to Josh Umera, another striker. So it seems like we have run the race for Luke Armstrong, which, like I said, is brilliant news to hear. Whether he'll be in the squad tomorrow for our game against Tranmere Rovers, I really highly doubt he will, but I mean, it's a good signing. He's coming in to add that competition to Ollie Palmer, Sam Dolby, and obviously you can't really compete with Paul Mullin. It will definitely add that extra competition, and it will add that extra depth in that position. That does make you think, is there going to be any outgoings on deadline day? Are we going to see one of the strikers, possibly Billy Waters, Jake Bickerstaff, possibly depart the club? We don't know. Anything can happen. We've still got 3 hours left of the transfer window, so it will be interesting to see what does happen with that situation. But let's keep our fingers crossed that it seems likely we will get Armstrong, but let's just still keep our fingers crossed that we'll see him in a Wrexham shirt very soon. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to get down there, click the subscribe button for all the best Wrexham AFC content, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. If I'm being honest, I'm expecting maybe one more video after this, maybe two, if a couple of players do leave the club. But yeah, I'm ready for bed, and I'm ready for Tranmere Rovers in the morning. I'll see you there. I'll probably see you in another video, but if not, I'll see you at Tranmere.